You know, folks, I talked about this in a video about a week or two ago, and that is why TNA is copying off WWE. Now, we all know that it's not uncommon for a wrestling promotion of any kind to copy off another promotion. You know, it's not uncommon for them to copy off a storyline that another promotion did a couple of years ago or 10 years ago. It's not uncommon, especially nowadays, to copy off a current storyline. But when I look at TNA copying off WWE, it's like, to me, and I think anybody might agree with this, it's almost like TNA cannot depend on themselves anymore. It's almost like Dixie Carter and her creative staff just does not depend on themselves to come up with something original. I mean, you have Vince Russo basically back on the payroll in a sense, although he's not physically there. Basically, you have them calling him up, emailing him, faxing him, Skyping him, Facebooking him, Google Hangouting him, just to find out, hey, what would you suggest? How do you suggest we do this? How do you suggest we get to this next level? How do you suggest we go from here or from there? See, it's almost like they don't have confidence in themselves. And then, to further prove that they can't depend on themselves, they take someone that's similar, maybe not in stature, but similar in a sense to a Daniel Bryan, like I say, maybe in stature, maybe not in stature, but not so in storyline. And yet you take this one individual who has been with your company, I will give him this, been with your company for over a decade, and say, okay, we're going to put the belt on you now. And it's kind of ironic that all of a sudden here you have this guy that not that long ago was tag teaming and trying to basically make Abyss and Joseph Park realize they are one and the same, basically get rid of that Joseph Park storyline for a while. Have him, team with them, have him feud with him, have him, just crazy, if you know what I mean, right? And what's that result in? That results in what? Him getting a title shot and a title run? And isn't it kind of ironic that it happens within the same week that Daniel Bryan wins the WWE World Heavyweight title? Isn't it kind of ironic? Now, it's also coincidental that all of a sudden you have Eric Young, and all due respect to Eric Young, I think he's a great athlete, a great wrestler, and deserving of being champion. But don't you kind of find it ironic that they have him saying in some of his promos in recent days on Impact and at Sacrifice that he's doing it for people that said, you're not big enough, or you can't do it. Gee, didn't we hear that similarly from Daniel Bryan? It's like, hello? This is what shows me TNA cannot stand on their own 2 feet when it comes to coming up with this original ideas and decisions. This is the way I look at it. Eric Young's title reign will last as long as Daniel Bryan's does. Maybe shorter, maybe longer, but it's going to last up until Daniel Bryan loses his. As soon as Daniel Bryan puts over somebody else and gives them the belt, whether it's somebody that's already been to the top numerous times, like one of the members of, as Jeff Siegel puts it, the Strike Daddy puts it, the Breakfast Club. If he decides to put one of them over, or he puts over somebody more newer and up and coming, like let's say Bray Wyatt, which would probably be the more logical sense, or maybe even a Cesaro, Only then will you see Eric Young drop his belt. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. I guarantee that's exactly what's going to happen. Eric Young will drop the TNA strap when Daniel Bryan drops his. So, let's say TNA says, okay, we're going to let you keep the belt through Slammiversary, and we're going to let you keep it up until maybe Bound for Glory, maybe the month before. You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? Daniel Bryan, most likely, and I know this might upset some Daniel Bryan fans, and believe me, I'm one of them. I am one of the Daniel Bryan fans. But I'm basically looking at this from a factual situation. SummerSlam is the third biggest pay-per-view of the year. The second biggest WWE pay-per-view special event of the year after WrestleMania, especially when you start the new season. Second biggest. So, there is no doubt that SummerSlam is probably the more logical place for Daniel Bryan to drop the belt. Probably the most logical place. Now, again, I know that might upset some Daniel Bryan fans, and I understand that. But I look at it this way. I look at the summer, and I look at Night of Champions, which is in the fall. I look between Money in the Bank, which I guess is July maybe, June, July, whenever, around that time frame. And I look at SummerSlam as being the potential times Daniel Bryan's going to drop the strap. I guarantee it. And when that happens, Eric Young drops his. And it's not going to be surprising to me or anybody else, because TNA obviously has proven, with all due respect to the talent that works there, they got a plethora of talent, except for the knockouts and tag team divisions that they need to work on. But besides that, they have a peripheral talent. They got a huge amount of talent on the indie scene and in other promotions, small, big, or whatever, whose contracts are about to expire, that they can try to latch onto. But I guarantee you this. As soon as WWE has, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I want you guys to think about this. As soon as Daniel Bryan decides with WWE, he's going to drop the belt to somebody else, whether it's one of the Breakfast Club members or it's an up-and-comer, that is when TNA will have Eric Young drop his. I guarantee it. I guarantee it right now that as soon as Daniel Bryan loses the WWE World Championship, Eric Young is going to lose his. And it shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. You take a look at TNA. Take a look at them. They have proven last year, and even parts of this year, that they can do some original stuff. Last year with the whole AJ Styles situation, they did what WWE was too afraid to do. They did a similar storyline, if not the exact same storyline, again similar or exact same, with AJ Styles and what they do. They followed up on it. They didn't say, okay, he's gone for a week, and oh, by the way, he's back. No, he was gone. Not on television until January, which would have been his last appearance with the company for right now, dropping the belt, and then going and signing with New Japan for a year, or for whatever. Which I guarantee AJ will be back before this year's out. I guarantee it. I just feel that's going to happen. But, point is, TNA can do some original stuff. Take a look what they do in the knockouts. Yeah, they have a minimal amount of knockouts. They need to get some more knockouts in there, and they're probably looking at some female talent as we speak. But take a look at this. And, you know, as ridiculous, now I will admit, as ridiculous as this sounded or seemed, they had Angelina Love return. Now, I'm cool with Angelina Love. I love Angelina Love. She's great. She's great as a face, if they give her the opportunity to be a decent baby face. And she's just tremendous as a heel. And take a look what they're doing. They look at Velvet Sky, who, again, given the opportunity, could become a great baby face. Ace Knockout. Could be definitely do good in that role if given the right opportunity. But like Angelina Love is tremendous as a heel. And they realized, hey, we have nothing for Velvet to do, and we got Angelina back, let's reform the beautiful people. Because they realized they need something. They need something, right? And that's what they did. Now, some of the decisions they have made throughout are kind of ridiculous too, though, because of this. I mean, suddenly you take Gail Kim, who not that long ago was a heel, and all of a sudden now she's a babyface? And you got 3 babyfaces against 2 heels. A little overdoing it, right? Kind of making the heels the faces, the babyfaces the heels, whatever. And I guess we're building up to a Gail Kim Angelina Love match at Slammiversary. Makes sense, I guess. But to me, like I said, this proves they could do originality, because they could do things original, because the beautiful people, love them or hate them, are popular no matter what. They're popular no matter what. So love them or hate them, people like the beautiful people, and they realize they have nothing to do. They realize that even though they had Velvet as sort of like this damsel in distress, it's kind of like pulling Super Cena-like, victories out of who knows where at times. They decided that, hey, we don't really have much to do for her except, this whole situation with Sabin, who's no longer with the company. Oh, by the way, let's make her heel. Now, again, ridiculous as that sounds, the one original thing they're doing with the beautiful people is probably, in my opinion, building towards Bound for Glory. It's true. They're building towards Bound for Glory, and here's what I mean. And again, I've mentioned this before. They're building towards Angelina and Velvet. And I'll probably talk about more of that in a video, but I believe that's what's happening. But again, they have proven that you can do original stuff with the knockouts, what they did last year. But throughout all that, you only have a few original things going on, some fresh things going on. But most of the time, it's copy what WWE's doing so people pay attention to us. And again, that is why, just like this title says, and I'm sorry I got a little off track there. This title says Eric Young will drop. It will basically state, in a sense, Eric Young will drop TNA title when Daniel Bryan drops WWE title. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. And I think a lot of you watching this know that. So, again, I saw I got a little off track there, but I thought I'd just point that out for anybody that, is curious. But you probably figured it out anyway. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. But believe me, the way TNA is going, storyline-wise, and the way they're paying more attention, apparently according to sources, to WWE and what other promotions are doing, yeah, I would suffice to say that when Daniel Bryan drops his belt, Eric Young's dropping his. It's just a fact, folks. Just my opinion, but I think it's a true fact that's going to become reality.